Welcome to the live streaming worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Today is July 12th, 2020. We welcome you to worship with us with an open mind and an open heart. Together, let us draw breath for our opening hymn, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Please rise in spirit.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place. When we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, yeah, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our hearts stirs within, and we shield the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place, then our heart is in a holy place, then our heart is in a holy place.
For our call to worship, please read with me our mission statement. Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. This Sunday, as part of Faith in Action National Network's Black Lives Matter Sabbath, we have invited members from Black Lives Matter Inland Empire to share with us what they are doing and how we can get involved. We have a couple of announcements we'd like to share. First, the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside would like to wish a happy birthday to Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, President of the Unitarian Universalist Association. The Social and Environmental Justice Committee will be meeting by Zoom Friday, July 17th at 5 p.m. To register, go to our Social and Environmental Justice Committee website by going to uuchurchofriverside.org, click Justice, and then Social and Environmental Justice. Black Lives Matter IE has asked us to sign 2 petitions. Go to our Social and Environmental Justice Committee website by going to uuchurchriverside.org, click Justice, and then Social and Environmental Justice, and you can click the links under Take Action. Also, visit bringtheheat.info and make a pledge to participate in a Bring the Heat virtual town hall or a Black Lives Matter action this summer. Bring the Heat is a campaign for police accountability led by Faith in Action National Network. Black Lives Matter IE will be holding a community meeting tonight at the Moreno Valley Community Park at 5 p.m. Chat time is being held on Zoom 1/2 hour after service every Sunday. During July and August, our services begin at 9, so chat time will begin today at 10:30 a.m., just like it was once upon a time in real life, live. But to participate in chat time now, you need a separate Zoom invitation. So please go to our website for the Zoom chat time registration, and that's at uuchurchofriverside.org. Camp Diviniville Pines is closed through August. For updates and further information, please go to their website, www.uucamp.org. There has been a lot of coronavirus or COVID-19 hype and misinformation circulating. You can get the most accurate and up-to-date information specific to Riverside County and San Bernardino County at these websites: Riverside University Health System Public Health Coronavirus Updates are at rivcoph.org/coronavirus, and the San Bernardino County Public Health Coronavirus Updates are wp.sbcounty.gov/dph/coronavirus. A word of caution: members of some churches have received scam donation emails pretending to be from their church or pastor. If you receive an email asking for a donation, please verify it was truly from our church. Do not click on any link and do not reply to the email. Send a separate email to us or give a call to our church. Church office email is admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. The church office phone is 951-686-6515. Let us acknowledge that we walk upon the traditional territories of the Maranga, the original people of this land, who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. In honor of the Maranga people, we, the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside, light this sacred flame as stewards of this sacred and holy place. We are blessed with the space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to live out our dream of a world community of peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. The chalice is the sacred symbol of our faith. We light it to remind us of the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. Our chalice lighting is The Promise and the Practice Chalice Lighting number 2 by Adrian L.H. Graham. We kindle a flame of power, illuminating the holy in each of our faces. We recognize in the flame a passionate commitment to our shared faith. We are held and carried from day to day, week to week, in the shining of the light. This flame is mine as well as yours. We are brought together on this day, called to growth, expansion within its glow. What does your heart know while beholding this holy fire? Our next hymn is Spirit of Life. Please rise once more in spirit and join us. Sharing joys and concerns is an important part of belonging to this beloved community. Each week, our caring network collects joys and concerns you wish to share, and on Sunday, we read what has been received. Please email or text your joys and concerns to Dinah Rowe, our caring network coordinator. Again, her email is ramblinrose22@yahoo.com, or you can call or text her on Bill's phone, 909-835-5467. Our caring network coordinator. Again, her email is ramblinrose22@yahoo.com, or you can call or text her on Bill's phone, 909-835-5467. One ongoing concern is that our church, like so many, has had a significant loss of income since the governor issued the stay-at-home order. We have canceled having paid speakers and furloughed our pianist. We've also made other significant reductions. Even so, our financial situation is difficult. Our first two new concerns are from Pat Cowunder. She says, my brother Mike in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and begins chemo on Tuesday. And also, Ted has not moved off the sofa since he returned from the hospital last week after his fall. I am worried that he will get weaker because of not moving. He is not eating much, but slowly better. I am thankful for a caregiver who assists. And I would like to add concern for Bonnie McFarland, who is dealing with some leg pain, and concern for my friend Ashlyn Malouf, who's dealing with a lung infection. Concern, when shared, is divided. We place a symbolic stone in our water chalice for all the concerns we have shared and all those we have not. Know that we are here to support each other. The first two joys come from John Longfield. He says, one joy, after being vacant for 3 months because of the virus, we found a good renter for our rental house in Orange County. Also, another good thing, after almost a year of work, our front yard landscaping project is done. And Kate Lewicki is thankful for her family and friends who call and keep in touch with her. A joy, when shared, is multiplied. We share a symbolic stone, we place a symbolic stone in our water chalice for the joys we have shared and those we have not. Know that we celebrate together, if from a safe distance at this time. Sharing our stewardship is how we can give of ourselves. We take 3 types of collection every week. The first 2 are for our Riverside community. Our Social Justice Committee distributes food and hygiene items in front of our church every Thursday morning. We collect dry good food items for the food insecure, such as pasta, granola bars, crackers, and powdered milk. We also collect hygiene items for anyone who needs them, such as toothbrushes, travel-size soaps, shampoos, shaving kits, and socks. Please email the church office to make an appointment to bring the food and hygiene items. Great Lakes script cards and Stater Brothers cards can also be donated to help purchase food and hygiene items. You can get these through our church office. Once again, the church office email is admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. Our third collection is sharing our treasure. This offering is how we fund all that we do to minister to and care for our congregation and our neighbors. That includes how we care for our beloved and aging church. We have several ways that we can accept your donation. You can mail your donation to the church office, please no cash. Our church office address is Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside, 3657 Lemon Street, Riverside, California, 92501. You can also make a digital donation. You can visit our website for a PayPal link at uuchurchofriverside.org/community/donate. If you have a smartphone, you can use the QR code displayed now to go to PayPal. We have a wonderful way to financially support our church at no cost to us and no cost to you. We have Stater Brothers cards for your grocery shopping that earns our church a percentage of what you spend. Buy a card and go shopping at Stater Brothers, and you might even find hand sanitizer, which it looks like we're going to continue to need for some time to come. Once a month, we order Great Lakes script cards, so we'll talk about that another time. Please contact Dinah Rowe or the church office to purchase Stater Brothers cards. Once more, Dinah's email is ramblinrose22@yahoo.com, and the church office email is admin@uuchurchriverside.org. You can also feel good about giving when making purchases through the Amazon Smile program. Go to smile.amazon.com. Be sure to have the smile dot at the beginning and choose Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside as your charity. We receive 0.5% of your qualifying purchases. Also, by using Amazon gift cards purchased through our script cards program, we receive both the script card percentage and the Amazon Smile percentage. You can also donate your talents and or sharpen your skills by volunteering to be a speaker, a worship associate like I am today, a musician, or a singer. Maybe you are great on Instagram and have noticed we aren't doing a lot there right now. We also have a Twitter account. What are you interested in that might be helpful to this church that you love? If you are willing to be a worship volunteer, please email worship@uuchurchofriverside.org. Please donate and participate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works best for you. Thank you for your generosity, and to those who give of their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. Our prayer today is a prayer for white people by Reverend Ellen Quadgrass. Sheltered in our homes, or going to work at risk, for week after week after week. We're edgy, tired, a little raw. We are tender, vulnerable, open, a little more open than usual. Those of us who are white, who before might have been distracted, who before might have been too busy, who before might have been preoccupied with our lives, are noticing the ways injustice has happened to people of color the same way again and again and again. Now we have become aware. Please, may we be aware. May we not lose awareness. May we not get distracted. May we not turn away. May we open, really open, accepting the invitation to change, really change our minds, our hearts, our world. When we encounter calls to defund the police, when we encounter calls for reparations, when we hear follow our lead from people of color, may we listen, may we learn, may we be open. Even if it means rethinking everything you thought you knew about the world. We have, all of us, as humans, an enormous opportunity to change one of the oldest injustices in history, to change everything. May we stay vulnerable. May we stay tender. May we take action. Eyes and hearts and minds open. Amen. Satu Shalom. Let it be. Again, today's service is Black Lives Matter Sunday, presented by members of Black Lives Matter Inland Empire. And I will stop this and turn it over to our speakers. I can unmute you.
To the verses? Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matthew.
Good morning. I'm Broderick.
BLMIE, co-founders and organizers. And thank you for having us. First of all, start off with that. When Adam first reached out to us, we were under the impression of connecting a sermon with what we've been doing. So that's pretty much what we prepared for y'all. And we wanted to correlate it with the story of Gideon, which is a story most of us know well, but we'll still read through the parts that we like to point out, starting with Judges 6:2-6. You want to read it?
Yeah, I read it. And the hand of Midian overpowered Israel, and because of Midian, the people of Israel made for themselves the dens that are in the mountains, and the caves and the strongholds. For whenever the Israelites planted crops, the Midianites and the Amalekites and the people of the east would come up against them. They would encamp against them and devour the produce of the land as far as Gaza, and leave no sustenance in Israel, and no sheep or ox or donkey. For they would come up with the livestock and their tents. They would come like locusts in number. Both they and their camels could not be counted, so that they laid waste the land as they came in. And Israel was brought very low because of Midian, and the people of Israel cried out for help to the Lord.
So essentially, what happened to the children of Israel is colonization, no matter where they went, and being put in oppressed situations that they weren't even allowed to build from, the same way Black people historically in America have been put in oppressed situations and not allowed to build from them. Dating to, I guess the most popular would be Black Wall Street, which was a thriving Black business community in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They had their own stocks, own churches, own banks.
And another example, because a lot of these stories may seem like they're far off, is that there's a story in Riverside where that happened here as well. A lot of the big Victorian homes and that you see in downtown Riverside were actually owned by Black families. And then when there was a large group of white people coming from the South, they pushed those Black people out and moved them to the East Side. And so as you can see now, even today, there's Black people that are disenfranchised. They've lost a lot of wealth, and their houses aren't worth nearly as much on the East Side as those $1 million homes that are in downtown Riverside. So these stories are not just like in Oklahoma, but they're right here in Riverside, and just all over the country.
The next verse that we'll go to is is verse 25, still in Judges 6. And that reads, Now it came to pass the same night that the Lord said to him, Take your father's young bull, the second bull of 7 years old, and tear down the altar of Baal that your father has, and cut down the wooden image that is beside it. So essentially, what God commanded Gideon to do was to dismantle, in his case physically, dismantle these structures of what's that? Oh yeah. These structures of oppression, these monuments of oppression, these things that represented the oppression of the children of Israel, which is our goals as far as dismantling this system that has caused us pain to the point of death, losing our lives, as well as before and after death, honestly. The way things get taken away from incarcerated people that are set up to fail. In those ways, it parallels with what God commands Gideon to do as far as dismantling this image of Baal. And we'll skip over to Judges 7, 13, and 14, unless you had something to add on.
Yeah.
You can take this one. Yeah.
So when Gideon came, behold, a man was telling the dream to his comrade, and he said, Behold, I've dreamed a dream, and behold, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the camp of Midian and came to the tent and struck it so that it fell and turned it upside down so that the tent lay flat. And his comrade answered, This is no other than the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, a man of Israel. God has given into his hand Midian and all the camp. So this is like the dream of liberation is something that we can also relate to the Black struggle here in the United States with Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman. They both had a dream, And you can hear this narrative throughout Black history with Martin Luther King and, us dreaming of liberation. And this dream has persisted for so long, and it's no other reason because God has given us this dream of building a new world that is that benefits everyone, and where there's no oppression and people can live freely without fear for their lives wherever they go. You have any?
Yeah, it's also a great example of affirmation and like-minded people. Because that's how essentially we got together as a group, was, pretty much overhearing other people's conversation that was in line with what we believe in. And the last verse we wanted to bring up is Judges 8:5-9. Then he said to the men of Succoth, please give loaves of bread to the people who follow me, for they're exhausted, and I am pursuing Zebah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian. And the leaders of Succoth said, are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in your hand, that we should give bread to your army? So Gideon said, for this cause, when the Lord has delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into my hand, then I will tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with briars. Then he went up from there to Penuel and spoke to them in the same way. And the men of Penuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. So he spoke to the men of Penuel, saying, when I come back in peace, I will tear down this tower. And I feel like that speaks to everyone's responsibility to be on the right side of this, essentially a revolution. Because what happened was, without showing lack of support or being supportive, the silence is violence. You end up on the wrong side of the right cause. And do you have anything with that?
Nah.
So that's kind of a run through of the base or foundation of why we do the work we do, and why we think everybody else has a responsibility to pursue it as well. As far as what we got going on now, or what we've been doing, I guess historically, we can start from the beginning with our first case was Isaac Kelly, when we got together back in 2016?
Yeah, that happened. Yeah.
That was 2016, and Isaac Kelly was killed by a security officer while going to get his mail late at night. That was the first family and that was in Paris, California. So this was our first local case where we had the opportunity to attempt to make a difference in a shift in this system. And from there,
he was shot 6 times.
6 times in the back.
That was a police officer. He was a security guard.
It was a security guard protected by the same system that first charged with, that decided to charge with manslaughter instead of what it was, which was murder 1. And so instead of falling in line with the punishments for the crime he committed, he was given about 6 months in jail and a couple years of probation.
Next, Measure Z.
Measure Z.
Yeah, Measure Z was also a big campaign we pushed. That was 2016, 2017. That was a grant that we got that was worth billions of dollars, and the police ended up getting a good chunk of that money with 60 new police officers, 60 new police cars, a new police station with more prison cells, while simultaneously criminalizing the poor in Riverside. So you can see where that is going. And that has kind of led to the situation now. And you can see as the number of police rise, that the number of police killings have risen. We have a graph that shows that actually San Bernardino and Riverside County have a higher death rate for people, a higher rate of police shootings than LA County. So, and it's not even close. So this is something that we're trying to fight when we're saying calls for defunding the police, that this is like a public health issue. This is something that, people our lives are in danger because they're, militarizing the police and, just killing people without any consequences.
Also, without addressing the other side as to what leads people to commit these crimes. That's where we were attempting to get money, and still are attempting to get money redirected to. And that's what we mean when we say defund the police. Because honestly, they don't need shiny new toys and more officers and all of these things, but the homeless population got to a point where it was so bad that they made being homeless illegal. It became illegal in downtown Riverside to sleep in front of a business, as well as if you got caught doing it, they would take your belongings as evidence. So not only are you taking these people, putting them in the system and spitting them back out, you spitting them back out with less than they had in the first place. Less than they had to begin with. And then the criminalization of trying to help these people. Instead of, I grew up in Randall Valley. We moved out here when I was about 5 years old. And one thing my mother and all my aunties and cousins, we all used to do was go feed the houseless people in Fairmount Park until it was criminalized. So now that's a $400 ticket, which you don't need more officers to go out and enforce. That's what brings us back to defunding the police, demilitarizing the police. Because this money could be going towards programs to actually help these people and the causes as to how they ended up on the street. How kids ended up in jail committing crimes for money. Where the disconnect was in the education. These are all places that these funds could go to, and instead they continue to go to the police. And most recently was the Sheriff's Department getting a 3% increase in their budget. And we had a push at the Board of Supervisors meeting to try to attempt to derail that. And they pretty much laughed in our faces. And the vote was 3-2 in favor of further militarizing these police departments.
Now, a couple of local cases that we asked for Adam to share the petitions for one is Lawrence Bender. Lawrence Bender is a Black man from San Bernardino. He was walking down the street, smoking a cigarette. He saw a tow truck driver working, and he approached the tow truck driver to ask for a light for a cigarette. Police officers saw him and immediately began to harass him, asking for identification and things like that. And the police officer shot him in the chest, and kicked him down the street. Like literally, we have the video on our social media pages. They kicked him down the street and threatened to shoot him in the face. This is all caught on his body cam and plain as day. And that same day, he was disappeared. He died in the operation room a couple times, and his family didn't know where he was for over a year, and they had to file a missing persons report. And 2 weeks later was when they found out that he had been arrested for assault on a police officer, and they've been fighting charges ever since. And we're trying to get all those false charges dropped, and his release, and Lawrence Bender being released immediately. The next was Messiah Cole.
And that's the most recent one that just happened in Randall Valley in February, where an 18-year-old kid had came to Moreno Valley for a friend's album release party, and basically got into it with two people who we still don't know if they made it known at that moment in that conversation, but found out were white supremacists. Blatant, bold, loud and proud, MAGA hat, Confederate flag, Nazi flag, whole 9 yards, white supremacists who ended up killing Masai. And because of the same system that we're talking about, in all its unfairness, the DA had offered one of them a deal where he would have got off, and the other one wasn't being charged with murder. So they were expected to have really light sentences for the crimes that they committed. But thankfully, us and other organizations through the family caught wind of this and was able to give it the attention that it needed. And as of, I think, Thursday, they're both being charged with murder in the first degree, and bail is set at $3.1 million. So as long as we continue to apply this pressure and attention, there might be a shot at some justice for at least Masai's cold case. And is there anything else you're working on?
Yeah, so we are going to be discussing this in person, and you'll be able to attend virtually this tonight at 5 p.m. At Moreno Valley Community Park. We'll be talking about, Lawrence Bender, Masai Cole, and the next steps that we can take beyond protesting to apply pressure to continue to make sure that we get a guilty verdict, to make sure that those two, white supremacists never see the light of day again. So we need to continue. We need you guys' support. We need you guys to let people know that our meeting is tonight at 5 p.m. Moreno Valley Community Park.
And that's it. Thank y'all for having us.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. A couple questions. Is there, for the meeting tonight, I think I heard you say something, is there an option for folks who don't want to go in person and try to participate virtually? Is that an option, or is it just going to be the in-person? You guys, oh, are you unmuted? You're unmuted. There will be an option for virtual. Is that the thumbs up?
There we go. Yeah, it'll be on our Facebook Live and Instagram Live. I think both of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you can look up Black Lives Matter IE on Facebook and Instagram and watch the meeting if you can't join in. Somebody else asked if maybe after the service, if you guys would be willing to stick around for some Q&A if folks in here with us have some questions.
Sure.
Yeah. That's cool. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. All right.
Yeah, no, you should.
All right. Thank you.
Wait, hold on.
Our closing hymn today is Answering the Call of Love, which some of you might recognize as Standing on the Side of Love. The name was changed by the author when some folks brought up that not everybody can stand. That when some of our language, when we talk about standing up for things, we forget that there are folks that they're not able to stand on the side of love, but are still with us. And also, I like Answering the Call of Love because it's a lot more active than just standing there. Answering the call calls us into action. So our next hymn is Answering the Call of Love.
The
benediction today is by Edward Everett Hale. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Amen, shalom, and blessed be.
I can get you food.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the service. That was the end of the service, and I've unmuted everybody so that we can open it up for some Q&A.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
What?
BLMIE.
Okay.
BLMIE was there.
Does anybody have any questions for our two presenters today, Broderick and Matthew?
Yes, thank you, Broderick and Matthew. One was wondering if what kind of responses have you had from town councils and police chiefs? Have there been any favorable feedback at all from some of the people that actually are in charge of these departments, which have been engaged in, as you say, even worse in Riverside and San Bernardino counties than in LA County? What kind of feedback have we been receiving? Have you been receiving?
You guys are unmuted. Should be unmuted. You.
They just have to unmute.
Yeah, it actually says that they're unmuted, and it's not letting me,
The volume, I don't know.
it's not letting me mute and unmute. Let me try mute all. Yes, unmute all.
Can't hear us. Mute.
I still can't. That's weird. Says you're unmuted, and I can't even mute you.
Maybe there's something they need to do from their end.
I don't know. I shouldn't be if they're not muted.
There you
Okay,
go. There we
there
go.
There we go.
Okay. What was the question was, what responses have we gotten from city officials and police chiefs? Well, it's the typical response that they've kind of given everybody over the last 100 years is, let's take a picture, let's have a meeting that none of us come to a conclusion on, and then go our separate ways and tell everybody else that the other person isn't cooperating. As far as their reactions, it comes in their actions. So if anything was going to move forward, then that 3% increase wouldn't happen. So that's what we see as a response. And the same way with how the sheriff Bianco is handling prisoners right now. The response is enough of an answer to where we don't feel the need to attempt to engage in conversations for the sake of engaging in conversations anymore.
Do you guys have a list of things you're working on as far as actions you want? The 3%, the prisons. What else are you focusing on?
Yeah, go ahead. So we have, if you go to our website, blmie.org, you can see all the things that we're working on, things we're up to. Primarily, we're working on the Lawrence Bender case, the case from Masai Cole, and eventually we're gonna start getting ready for the BOS vote again later in the summer. So just stay tuned for that. Other than that, you can follow us on social media We have a link tree to stay involved.
And we also got, we also have and are developing tools to help people organize themselves. We already have a toolkit basically for how to organize a protest when you need to, and we're developing a political education course for anybody interested in our beliefs, ideologies, philosophies, and so forth.
You said you've got a link tree? You've got a link tree with information on how to get everything. Can you share that with me, and I'll post it to our website?
So if we want to go get involved, we can do it through your Facebook.
Yeah, or hit our website. The website would be more reliable. Yeah.
Okay.
Adam, I just text you the link tree.
Any other questions?
I guess I'd like to ask a quick follow-up question, and that is, all right, so the police departments, PDs are doing, like you say, they've been doing for however many years, right? Okay. Are there city managers, are there city council members or other officials who will actually break and have some daylight between them and the department's and the PD's position, where they are actually saying things like, I agree with you, or anything like that, and agreeing that they might help put pressure on some of these police departments?
Talk about that letter from BOS. The what? That letter from BOS.
Yeah, so we actually have a letter that we're putting together to, challenge these other officials to, choose a side on whether they believe that, community is more important than policing.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll be making that public sometime soon. But yeah, we're trying to figure that out.
And you'll be inviting signatures from everyone who wishes to sign, right?
We haven't all the way finalized how we're gonna roll it out.
Okay.
But yeah, once we do, everybody will know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oversight. There used to be a citizens oversight, police oversight group. Is that still going?
In Riverside?
Yeah. Well, a long time ago, when Tyusha Miller incident happened, there was a citizens oversight group. I wonder if that's still going on, if they're any help to you guys.
I can speak really quickly on the Police Oversight Commission. It's still there, but they don't do anything. And I think if they wanted to, they have considered pretty much all shootings that the police department has done in Riverside as okay. And if they wanted to, I don't think they could do anything. They don't really have any teeth. But also, they have been filled with police officers and former police officers at commission seats for a long time. And so it's not been very helpful at all. Maybe there has been a change in the city council, and maybe we can get some city council members here to put some better folks on it. But yeah, go ahead, brother.
So one thing I'll answer to that is, like you said, police commission or police oversight committees are usually pretty powerless, and that is why we kind of distance ourselves from doing those things, because we did those things in the beginning when we started back in 2014 organizing. Like, we would attend these meetings, we would attend city council meetings, and we would largely, like, for the most part, we would be ignored and laughed at like we are right now. So that's why we're just calling for the flat out just defund the police and the abolition of the police eventually, because they're not really listening to us. That's the only way we're going to really get people to stop being murdered by the police is if there's more resources than police. And that's what our end goal is.
I think one thing we
Okay.
can try as a group is forward thinking and not attempting to try something that we already know hasn't worked. So we've seen this oversight commission model not work in LA forever, right?
Okay.
LA, I think they still have the most murderous police unit in the country. So that's why that's kind of a, a old
No
worn
go
tech.
kind of thing. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully you get some folks to come down to the meeting, or at least watch it on Facebook or Instagram.
Please tune in.
Lee might be raising his hand there. Go ahead, Lee. If I can unmute you. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, one more question. When discussions happen about the defunding the police and so forth, is there a plan to form citizens groups, sort of like the Black Panther Party did in previous times, to protect their communities?
So, like Matthew said earlier, we have to look at why crime happens.
Yes.
It's because there's a lack of resources in our communities.
Exactly.
We don't have fully funded schools. We don't have recreation centers in our communities. We don't have health clinics. We don't have job development. We don't have any of these things to prevent people from having to, commit crimes. Most Black folks that are in jail because we're trying to provide for their families or for themselves. So the reason why we're saying defund the police is to put that money into our communities. That's our money to begin with. So that's what we're asking for, our money back to fund our communities so that we can build ourselves up. So we don't need police. The safest communities, when you go to Woodcrest, when you go to Rancho Cucamonga, when you go to I don't know, where, like any other nice community in the IE, Temecula, there aren't police on every block. There aren't police, patrolling the blocks all day and night. They have resources. They have beautiful parks. They have wonderful schools, and that's what we need. That's what we deserve. So that's what we're trying to eradicate the need for police to begin with. We need to look at the root cause of why police exist and why crime exists.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, thanks for everybody who joined us, and thank you, Matthew and Broderick, for joining us and sharing with us. And hopefully we can work together more in the future with what's going on. All right.
Thanks.
And then
Thank you.
everybody, again, we've got at about 20 minutes is chat time. So if you haven't signed up, go ahead and sign up and get the information, and we'll be emailing out the link for chat time in a little bit. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Linda Greer, I'm calling you. You guys are done.